Okay, so this is going to be my year-end review of my layout. And I'm going to start off right here with a view that most of you have not seen. This is the mountain pass on the west end of my layout. I've got a water feature here where the train is actually going across small, wetlands. It's basically a river that spreads out a little bit. It's not really a lake. And I'm going to eventually have trestles in here to support the track. And as you can see, it runs off and leaves the layout here, and it'll continue on in the next section of the layout. But as you can see, I've got a water tower here. On the other side of the mountain, there's the apartment complex. There's a couple of trucks here that are unloading supplies for the grocery store that's at the lower level. You can see the gravel pit here that I've got. There's actually a truck here that's picking up gravel. There's the building that controls the workings of the gravel pit. There's the train station here. There's a passenger train on the other side. There's cars along the side right here. More on that in a little bit. There's the locomotive shed right here, and with a main line, an Amtrak train on the outside. So that's everything that's going on at this end. On this side, I've got a helicopter flying in that's bringing supplies over to the locomotive shed, and on the upper level, everything carries on going there. Right here, I've got an Amtrak train that's pulling a repair train, and that's actually going to be doing repairs on the track. So that'll be pretty nice when I get that done. Let's see what else. This is a road that's going across here. It's going to come across in this area right here. It's going to go across there, and then there's going to be a road that's going full length this way. More on that when I get down to the other side. But I wanted to give you some close-up views of what's going on this side. You can see I've got a propane storage tank right here. There's actually going to be an electrical substation down here that's got a backup generator that the propane tank is gonna supply to keep power going to the layout if there's ever a power outage to the manufacturing plants and whatnot here. And you can say the water feature came out pretty good. It looks nice, especially got a lot of motion in it, so that came out pretty good. Still working on this side over here. It's a little the color's not quite right there, so still working on that. Got all my trees in place. Got the mountain all sculpted. That's looking really well. So we'll go down to the other end, and I'll explain more of what I'm doing. Hang on a second. So here we are at the other end of the layout. We're on the west side of the layout looking east. And what we've got here is lost my pointer. So we've got a building here that's new. It has 18-wheelers that can unload on this side. It's got a loading dock on this side that the boxcar train can come in, can stop, can unload material into this building, and then carry on. This is a loading and unloading building as well. It has flat cars that can come into it or be loaded and unloaded on this side. There'll be a crane in here. And then I've got box cars on this side that can load and unload inside this building. I've got tank cars here that are going to supply are going to fill up the diesel storage containers that are going to be in this area right here. I actually just got this model in, and I'm in the process of modifying it to fit in this area. I've got a switching tower here. As most people should be aware, this layout right here is actually a switching puzzle. You can build yourself a little train on this spur, on this part of the track right here, and then using just the track and without without actually touching any cars or lifting cars up off the track, deposit the cars that are on the train where they need to go. So like tanker cars would go here, box cars would go here, flat cars would go here, gondolas would go there, and so you'd have like a small train here with 6 or 7 cars on it, and then figure out how to move those cars around on the layout with just this little switcher engine to get them in the correct place that they're supposed to go. So it's a lot of fun. Switching puzzles are a lot of fun. I have more fun with the switching puzzle than I do just watching the trains go around the track. So that's pretty cool. As I said, there's a gravel pit down here. Passenger train is here. In this area right here, there's going to be a platform for passengers to wait for their train. This car is probably not going to be there. It's probably going to be over here somewhere, so that it's out of the way of the platform, so that can go in here. Say there's going to be a road that goes all the way along here, curves across here, and goes under here, and goes all the way over to here. And then it's going to branch off right here, go across the tracks here, go across these 2 rail gates, and then come across here to the main line. There's going to be a parking area right here where cars can park end to end, so that I get more cars that can park here, here, and probably a couple over by these trees somewhere. I'm not sure. I've got this is an apartment complex. Bottom level is a grocery store. I showed you the trucks on the back side that are actually going to load and unload into a dock on the back side of this building that I'm going to build. This is a restaurant. It's fashioned after a Denny's. So I've got a massive parking lot here. It's fairly large. I've got a little parking lot on the back side over here. This is an automotive, going to be an automotive repair shop. It's going to go right here. Beside that is going to be the gas station, so it'll be sitting in this area right here. So that's everything that's going on the top level. So that's the top level here, except for this back corner. This on the back corner right here is a farmhouse. This is the other water feature. I've got a waterfall that comes in here, and then water runs along here and then exits the property on the back side. And in here there's going to be horses and cattle, and then back behind these trees I've got some deer that I'm going to be putting in here, and they may be also up on the mountain or behind there's actually land on the far side of this stream that they could be at. So that'll be pretty nice. There is when you were looking at the first part of the video, there's actually a tunnel that goes under the mountain right here that this traffic can go. These semi 18-wheelers can go through the mountain and go and leave the property going underneath that tunnel. There'll be a road running along here that people will be able to use and then go out through that tunnel. This is, like I say, this is a grain silo here. This train can leave and leave the property. It goes on there and actually exits on this outside loop right here. There's cars on this side of the layout of the grain silo, and they can get picked up by a locomotive and also leave on that same track going out through this way. Right behind the grain silo, if you look at the original or the first part of the video, I've got a couple of cabooses that are on this track, and the trains can drop their cabooses off here so that they can more easily load and unload, load or unload grain into the silos. They would drop their grain through pits underneath the track, just like these guys are doing. These guys are actually will have pits underneath them that they will be dropping their grain into. And same thing for these. These trains can either drop grain into the pit, or they can be loaded, or they can be loading grain from the silos. Down here, I've got a Pepsi plant. This will actually be a large building that comes up, goes across the track, and then comes back down on this side. So this train will actually back into the Pepsi plant, and then people, then the cars can be loaded and unloaded from inside the plant. So that'll be pretty nice. On this side, we've got the locomotive shed. There'll be a door on this side, and inside the locomotive shed will be manufacturing facilities, repair shop, whatnot, to repair the locomotives that are on this side of the track, on this side of the shed, that are here to get repaired and or cleaned. Down at this end, this is going to actually be the beginning of a lumber yard, which will actually continue on to the next layout. But that will be the beginning of the lumber yard. This is a lumber yard train, or a lumber car right here. The other part of it is over there. That's being pulled by the double locomotives that consist. And like I say, this will continue on into the other layout. This track right here has got a car carrier on it, and these cars can get unloaded into a car park that's also going to be on the next level, or the next layout. So there'll be a car park over here with a used car lot or new car lot dealerships over here. This will be a lumber yard that will be behind or over on the side of the car park. So those two industries will be here. So I'll have on the lower level, I'll have this industry for the lumber yard, this industry for the car park. I'll have the locomotive shed industry. I'll have the Pepsi plant industry, and then I'll have the grain silo industry. And then, like I say, I have the Amtrak repair train is over here, and then I've got 3 trains that can be in motion at any given time. I've got 3 different trains, or I could run just 2 trains and have either this train or the diesel train run on both tracks, just by parking one off the track, either over here or on this siding, and force everything to go over here, and then flipping this switch into a cross, so that the one train runs on both of the outside, or both tracks on the lower level, which is pretty cool as well. Lets me put a really long train. I've done it a couple of times. Lets me put a really long train on the track at the same time, and still have a lot of interest as it goes around the track. So that's the layout. Like I say, this is my year-end review. Just so everybody knows, if you're interested in starting model trains, I went from zero. I knew nothing about model trains 9 months ago. I started this literally 9 months ago from zero, and you can look at my old videos. I've done layout after layout after layout, all trial and error, learning how all of this worked. I've laid thousands of feet of track, with the pulling it up and putting it down and pulling it up and putting it down over and over and over again, trying different things, and finally got to a point where I liked the layout that I did. So I finally bit the bullet, started gluing stuff down, and even after that, this has changed a couple of times, as you'll probably see in some of my earlier videos. Before I got to this point, there actually used to be 3 lines down below and no line at all up on top. And I finally figured out that to wipe out the 1 line down below and move it so that it was on the top up here, going around, and that really made this an extremely interesting layout, where I could put a lot of different industries on without having a lot of dead end sidings. That's one of the things that I thought was important, was to I mean, I've got sidings. I've got dead ends ending. I've got one here. I've got one here, and I've got one here. But I've also got lots of places where the train is going by, places where it can stop and load and unload materials, which I think is really good. And then I've got a lot of interest. I've got lots of tunnel openings. I've got this is actually a tunnel that goes all the way down the length of the track. So this train right here, as it goes around, it goes through a tunnel here, and it disappears for a really long time, because it goes all the way through here. It doesn't come out over here, which people expect. People expect it to come out of this tunnel right here, and it never does. It actually goes underneath all of this top deck all the way to here, comes around here, and then comes back out right here. So and that's a really interesting thing that people like about the layout is that the train just all of a sudden disappears. You don't know what happened to it, because it doesn't show up where you think it should show up. But yeah, this is my year in review. My next video next year is probably going to be a breakdown of my layout. I'm going to take literally everything off the layout, because there's lots of parts that this layout is in lots of different parts, and I want to show people how the layout is built. This whole section down here is removable. This is removable. This is removable. This entire top deck is removable, so that you can get to the track underneath. This track right here is actually a figure-8 track. It's a loop going around on the outside, but you can also go under the layout and do a reverse loop and come back out this way, or it can go this way and go around the track and and reverse the train going this way. So it's a double reverse loop underneath the track, which is pretty cool. So that's something that I will also show more of in the video next year, and I've also had videos from it earlier as well. So and then, like I say, that my next step is going to be putting in roads, then putting in the ballast on all the track, and then putting in grass and parking lots and whatnot. So a few more trees to finish out the layout, and then putting in people and animals, and we'll be finished. At the rate I'm going, I've got this far in 9 months, but the next phases are exponentially more difficult. Putting in the roads and the trees and the landscaping, and the grasses, and putting the people in the right place and the traffic in the right place. That's all going to take probably another year, and even at that, I doubt if I'll ever be finished, because I'm always thinking of new things to add and new things to do. And then, of course, hopefully one day I'll get this is just in an apartment. This is in the living room of my apartment. It's 3'6" wide and 5'6" long, and it fills up most of my living room, as you can tell. And but it's been a lot of fun. I've really enjoyed it. I hope everybody is enjoying the videos, and I will see you next year.